Hello everyone, especially to my instructor, Sir RJ Taro. And today I will show you about my interview to the three person for me to identify the differences in communication practices.
Good afternoon, Miss Imari. I'm Denmark Albertica. I decided to interview you for me to identify any differences in communication practices. And here is my first question for you. How do you show respect for others?
For me, there are so many ways to show our respect for one another. And in my perspective, I always use honor respect to someone who is older than me and to the people with a higher position in the society. For instance, I say po and opo as a sign of respect for elders. I say good morning ma'am and sir, and of course saying thank you to every person who expresses love and care towards me.
Here is the second question. What is the importance of saying po and opo, thank you, please and excuse me, and when is the right time to say them?
Thank you for that question. In my point of view, as a Filipino, I can probably say that we have variety of tradition and culture. Saying this line po and opo has become a part of this tradition as a sign of respect. And I always say this line whenever I'm having a conversation with older people because I believe that it is a must in order to communicate nicer to your fellow men. Another thing is saying thank you. It is also important because it emphasizes your gratitude about something or for someone who is giving you happiness, enjoyment, or satisfaction in life. And also, saying please. It is very crucial for us to say this so that the person who you are talking to will notice that your sincerity, especially if you are asking them for favor. And lastly, saying excuse me. It is also important because it is another way of showing respect for others. We say this line whenever we are trying to interrupt someone in a good way. For instance, a bunch of people are blocking your way home. So that is the time you say, excuse me, excuse me, can I pass through? That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Miss Missy Karish. I'm Mark L and I decided to interview you for me to identify any differences in communication practices. And here is my first question for you. How do you show respect for others?
I show respect to other people by saying po and opo, thank you please, and excuse me.
Thank you. Here's the second question. What is the importance of saying po and opo, thank you, please, excuse me, and when is the right time to say them?
As a teenager, saying po and opo, thank you please, and excuse me for me is important. Showing respect to others is relevant and should be done with gratitude towards other people. Firstly, po and opo. I am a Filipino and Filipinos show big respect for elderly people by saying common words po and opo. Secondly, I say thank you as a sign of respect to the people who helped me and also to appreciate the good things they've taught and shown to me. Thirdly, I used to say please as a polite request and to afford to give pleasure and satisfaction towards that person. And lastly, excuse me. I say excuse me when I want to ask some questions, to politely ask some questions to someone and to ask them a question politely. Thank you.
That's all. Okay, thank you for answering my question
You're welcome.
and also to your time.
Yay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. John Andrew.
Good afternoon.
I'm Mark L. I decided to interview you for me to identify any differences in communication practices. Here is my first question for you.
How do you show respect for others?
Um, in my opinion, sir, I think listening to a person has to say is the basic way to respect them. Because everyone wants to feel that they're being listened to. Showing respect can also be in the form of hand gestures and saying basic polite words like po and opo.
That's all. Here is my second question. What is the importance of saying po and opo, thank you, please, excuse me, and when is the right time to say them?
Saying po or opo is a sign of respect in the Filipino culture. It is accustomed to say every time you speak to the person above of your age. The right time to say po, opo, thank you, please, and excuse me is when somebody is asking you to do something. And please, if you ask something to do the person, and thank you if someone do something good for you. If they give you compliments and gifts, saying these words are sign of appreciation to the person who are genuinely wants to give you a helping hand. That's all.
Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you for your response and answers, and also to your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the interview I did about the differences in communication practices. And after that, I saw their different idea. Like in my first question to the 3 people I've interviewed, every individual of them has different perspective of how they show respect for others. The first person I interviewed is that she always use honorific to someone who is older than her and to the person with higher position in the society. The second person show her respect by using the word po, thank you, please, and excuse me in the way of speaking. And the last person, he show respect for other by simply listening to a person because for him, he thinks that every person wants to feel that they are being listened to. And in my second question, all of them had almost the same point of view about how important of saying the common word po and opo, thank you, please, and excuse me. Like saying thank you by emphasizing your gratitude, and po and opo for them is that they basis on Filipino culture that makes it important. And saying excuse me for showing respect and interrupting to someone, and please for asking a favor. And I think that is all their answers. And though there has been much different answers on different subjects, however, I think it is clear that they have their own assorted opinion in 2 varied questions. And I think that's all. And before I will end this vlog, I would like to thank first Miss Imari, Miss Missy, Karish, and Mr. John Andrew for letting me interview them for this project. That's all. Thank you.